Welcome to the Fire Away Podcast. That is the Fire Away Podcast. Oh yeah. Here we go. Let's do it.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Fire Away. I'm your host, Mark, and we have a little special episode here today where we are sound checking and trying out our new equipment. So if you're hearing this, that means it worked out pretty well. If you're not hearing this, then I'll just keep talking anyway. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Fire_Away Podcast on Instagram. And for the first time I'm announcing this, you can hear us on any major platform now. We are on Amazon, iHeart, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. You can find the Fire Away Podcast on any major platform. So thank you for listening. I am here. We were going to have a foursome today. Now we're only having a threesome today. Three-way. Amanda's already shaking her head. I'm here once again with the PMO team. What's up, Amanda and Liz? And we're not going to talk about PMO stuff today.
Oh, yippee.
These microphones are awesome. I don't know if you're hearing the difference as you're listening on whatever device you're listening on, but this new equipment is great. We're already loving it. So, again, this is a trial and error sound check episode. We don't even know what we're going to talk about today. And Amanda is freaking, and there we go. We got sound effects. Kelly is quick on the sound effects. So Amanda is sweating across from me. You can't see this. It's the magic of radio. She's very nervous that we do not have this scripted out.
I need my script.
Liz is taking pictures of herself. She said she was going to put her phone down, and 30 seconds into the podcast, she's taking pictures of herself.
I was not taking a picture. My kid is home alone.
She thinks it's going to flood.
Oh.
She's messaging me.
Well, what's going on, ladies?
Not much.
We got these 4 mics now. Are you guys excited to see what we're going to do with them?
Yeah, maybe you'll have some women on here more often instead of just
women more often.
know,
We got
the
23
guys,
episodes.
the
and there's
cool
at
guys.
least 5 women. 6 women.
No, I'm saying like permanently here. You know?
Oh, okay. Like you want to
like
join
a
the show?
host.
Like a host?
Yeah.
We want people to listen. Oh. Ba-doom.
Yeah. Kelly was not on it.
No, so you guys have now officially been on here more than anybody else. Well, Liz has anyway.
This is
Liz's third time. We have never had a guest been on 3 times, and we are coming up on our 1-year anniversary episode that we're going to have in July, which is one of the reasons we're testing out this equipment, because we want to do something big for our 1-year anniversary, and we just don't know what it's going to be yet. I'm thinking about having like a rotating door of guests just coming in and talking to us for our 1-year anniversary episode in July. So thank you for taking time out of your day to come over and help us work out any kinks we're going to have with this new equipment.
We understand we're the only ones in the office, so
we had planned this, and you guys were the first one we thought of when we said we need somebody with a big mouth and likes to talk, so we can make sure.
I'll believe that when you can tell me another one.
All right, so you had emailed us a list, and I read it, and I can't remember what it said about topics that you wanted to talk about on this, because you like. Did you have anything planned or prepared?
I mean, you know me, I prepare, but the topic I wanted to really talk about, Elizabeth is somehow doesn't want to talk about it. But,
time travel?
Yeah, there was a video. I mean, you know, us TikTok people, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Liz is a TikTok person, so maybe that's why she doesn't understand.
So what is I'm not on TikTok either. So what is it about time travel that's got you wanting to talk about time travel?
So there's this guy who owns an Airbnb, and he has Ring cameras all around his house, and he supposedly caught a guy going into his shed and never coming back out, and then a couple of days later he comes back and he's old.
Same guy. It's like the Doritos Super Bowl commercial. Do you remember that?
Right.
Yes. Okay.
But it's pretty interesting. I went down a rabbit hole. Yeah, I was.
You just summed it up. How much of a rabbit hole was? Is there more to the video? He went in, come out.
The fun is if you believe it, that it's possible. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
But if you don't, I mean, obviously you keep scrolling. But not me. I believe it. So
you believe that you can go into this dude's shed and time travel?
I mean, it was a small shed. Where was he hiding?
Where did he go?
The cops went in there. The door never closed.
Oh, so he got the popo with the police involved.
He's got some really good editing
and
cameras.
He's got friends that are police.
I mean,
yeah.
Liz is not buying it.
Nope.
It's fine.
All right. So
it's fine. When a guy shows up in her shed, nobody's gonna believe her.
No. Where did this happen?
I don't know. I don't get all those details now.
Okay,
you
so
know, it's
the
a little
stuff
bit
that
too much.
matters.
And this is coming from the woman who Dr. Googles everything.
Doctor Googles everything
Listen.
except for time travel.
Sometimes
She believes
Google-
it straight off the bat.
Listen, Dr. Google.
Seems legit. All
I
right.
think I've diagnosed you a couple times without having to pay a copay. So let's not go there.
You're welcome. All
Yeah.
right. Or you could just go to this guy's shed and come back when you're all better.
That's right.
That's what you could do.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, do you believe in time travel?
I do not. So I am more of the time is not real kind of thing. Like
Okay.
time is something we make up. Because really, if you think about it, I mean, it doesn't. What is time?
Yeah, but
made it up.
it's happening. Like whether you put the number to it or the year or the day,
Something's
put to
happening,
it,
but it,
something's happening.
Yeah.
But like, you don't believe that, like in like science and like being able to like fast as light and go from.
well, I
here to
believe
there?
that. I believe in science, yes, and that energy never stops and things like that, and I guess time is infinite to me. That's how I think about it. I don't think we're getting out of time travel, but obviously when you die, I don't believe that that's the end as far as science and energy and things like that. I believe it's the end for our bodies and things like that, but not for our conscious minds and our energy. And we can get into religion and all that stuff, but
Well,
I
that's what it
kinda-
comes back to for me. So that's why.
yeah, and I get it, right? And I've talked to people with religious beliefs, and obviously it goes against their beliefs to believe that this isn't the end. And then I don't know. I just look at I can just look up at our night sky and look at the constellations and the planets and go, come on, we're not that special. Why us? My daughter picks her nose and eats it. We ain't that special of a human race. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, why were we the chosen ones?
I don't think we are just the chosen ones. I think there's. I believe in all that stuff, though. I am. You know how people have like the devil and the angel on their shoulder? I have the angel and the conspiracy theorist.
On the
So
other
it's like
shoulder?
I'm tugged.
It's an angel in a shed. On
yeah,
one side.
the shed
I
pulls
like
me
it.
in all the time. I mean, where did the guy go? And if-
Right out the back door.
I don't know. My
I
shed
don't
doesn't have a
know.
back door.
He had a
don't
tunnel.
know. well, the guy.
There you
that
go. That's
posted
something
it-
else. Another theory, though.
The guy
Where
that
was
posted
it
it did say he looked to see if there was like a tunnel under there. I don't know. It just pulls you in, and it's funny to get in the comments and read the people that are like not.
I mean,
for
I'm sure
it
it
and
can
the
be
people that are for
entertaining,
it.
but
Yeah. That's me. It
Just
entertains.
call me when the guy comes out of your shed because I want to help
That's-
figure out what happened.
My brain is very simple and just the fact, like, I just need it to be entertained. I don't need the movie that I'm watching to be the best movie I've ever seen. Just entertain me for 90
So
minutes.
you don't
and I'm
believe in the
happy.
whole like celebrity? What do
mean?
they call it? Where they like drink blood to stay young.
You talking about like
What is it called? See, look, I can't even. You got me thinking about time
like
travel.
the Illuminati? Is
Illuminati.
that
You
you're
don't
talking
believe in
about?
that?
no.
Now look, I
I'm sure there's
believe
some
that the
crazy
one
people out there.
percenters get away with a lot more than us normal people do. I do believe that. I do believe that.
You just
there's
never wondered why like J-Lo still looks like she's
She's got the money to go to the
Nah.
doctors to get the stuff.
no.
Right. And people to prep her food and
Yeah, I mean, that's
All
my
the
thought. I mean,
things.
you look at me. Do I look like I'm 50? No, man. I look like I'm 29. Yeah.
Kelly, did you tell him that one?
No, but you're. there are. I mean, yeah. I guess you can get into all that rabbit hole stuff. You have no conspiracy theory stuff, Liz. You're just not buying none of it.
some things I'm like,
She tries to bring me back down to earth, but
yeah.
it's
No, you can just get really caught up in that. And I think that's the whole point.
It's all black and white to you, though. Like
no,
you're
it's
saying,
not black.
Okay.
Well, it is.
It's okay if it is. I'm just.
Well, I'm thinking now. Like, I don't know the answers to everything. I still have questions about stuff, but
I think it's human nature to question everything,
Right.
right? We want to be. I just heard about it on the radio on the way here today that the Pope was making a press conference about alien life, which is really confusing. And it was over in London somewhere. If it was wherever the Pope's from, I'm not sure. Rome. I have no idea. But I don't know what. I don't even know what he said. But it happened at 6:00 Eastern time, and I have not looked up the speech. But it's kind of where the worlds collide, right? Why is the religious leader talking about alien life? Because they usually are worlds apart, literally on those two things. But it's hard to have that kind of conversation if you only think in black and white, right? I guess, no. And I know I have those people in my life where it's like, nope, it's this way, right? There's no way that happened. It's this way. No way this guy walked into a shed and came out older because it's not possible. Mm-hmm. Says who? I don't know.
I think that's why I am, I'll say, part conspiracy theorist, because there is, like, I just believe that there's just things that we don't see and we don't experience on a day to day. And I'm not very black and white, and I'm not very like, it is what it is. So I do let it affect me, because there are rabbit holes that I go down and I'm like, ooh, I should probably back out.
What is your favorite conspiracy theory? Is there anything that jumps out? And we'll give you a minute to think about it.
Oh, COVID for me.
Ooh, that's a good one. All right, let's talk about that. You do think it's a conspiracy? You don't think it's a conspiracy?
No, I don't think it's a conspiracy, but I think people think that it is. I guess I could kind of fall into the fact that...
What do you think? You think it was... All right, so clearly people got sick. That wasn't fake.
Right, exactly.
I don't know if anybody...
I think that our wonderful government got involved, and then they just made it way more than it. When you go from the entire world is shut down to now when you go to the doctor and you test positive for COVID, it's just a regular virus and you just go home and you
could
go
that
about
be
life.
that we just know more about it now, 4 years later?
Possibly.
Yeah. I mean, there are still people out there wearing masks.
I
Sure
think
are.
COVID was like a test almost, like just to see what people do, like sort of like just when you go to the grocery store back then. I mean, I don't know if you took a look around, but people were like people would stop if you were like in the aisle. They wouldn't come in the aisle.
It was a very weird time.
People would touch the canned goods with their gloves and then touch their phone, and then like, what? You might as well just not wear gloves, right? So people just did what they saw other people doing. So it's like sort of like a...
So the conspiracy theory part would be that it was a test, or it was used to a benefit, right? It was exaggerated to benefit inflation, whatever it may be, right?
Yeah, some people think that, they put probes into your body when you got the vaccine and craziness, which...
My favorite one is...
if you have a cell phone, they already know everything you're
my
doing.
My favorite conspiracy theory around the shot is that they're just going to click a button and we're all just going to... Whoever got it's just going to drop dead. That's how they're going to do population control. But I will say that on the conspiracy side of me, the whole like Bill Gates, like how he's tried to like control the population, and he's like involved. Like I think that's why a lot of people go down that road, because he's like tried to control the population for a long time.
I didn't hear about that. Do you know any more about that? When did he try to control the population?
He actually had a seminar somewhere. I have to look it up because I don't want to like misspeak, but there was a seminar that he actually had that they actually talked about this, and they talked about, he kind of said the way that you control the population is like basically you kill people off in some way, somehow, sickness.
This is why I don't watch the news.
So
you're afraid they're going to kill us off?
No, I can't get caught up in all that.
So I mean, it's just population control is the benefit of it, basically.
Yep. So
like
basically, just
Yep,
just to control the population. It was a known thing. It was out there. He said 3 billion people need to die, basically.
3 billion? How many people are on Earth? 15 billion? Something like that?
I don't know.
No?
Is he really that powerful?
Bill Gates?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Was Bill Gates the Microsoft guy?
Yeah, but he's got a lot of money. I don't know. Money buys.
Is he in that 1%er that I was talking about when it comes to conspiracy theory? Like, is he part of the 1%?
The 1% of people.
I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah, I think that played a big role in it. Plus, I think social media plays a big role in it, right? Like you see, monkey see, monkey do.
I think social media plays a huge role in all these conspiracy theories now, right? Because it's information sharing and it's instant and it's at our fingertips constantly,
and it's controlled. So your
controlled,
algorithm,
right?
whatever it is that you click
That's
on, it's going to keep
wild,
feeding you that.
Yeah, and it's there's a point there. I think my algorithm was all like cooking and baseball at one point, and it's weird, and it just you can't break it, and it sucks you in, and it's all done by computers, right, and robots. you can talk about something, you know, your phone's listening, you pick it up, and what's the next ad on your phone, right? It's whatever you were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking before the mics come on about you put something in your shopping cart and then you're getting emails about it. But it's the same thing with an ad. If you click on an ad, then every ad you start getting is about whatever you were just looking at.
Yep.
It's almost like they know, right? If you're buying, you know, say for instance, I'm buying swimming trunks. Well, then I must be going somewhere where I'm going swimming. So what the next thing they're trying to, you know, you might need some new sunglasses for that trip, or, you know, don't forget your sunblock. You know, it's all this weird stuff they're trying to figure out.
Oh, yeah.
I know people that won't get Alexas because they don't want people to, the government to quote unquote listen in. And I think that's funny. I mean, even like my thing is I carry around this phone all the time. So if they're listening to me, they're listening to
Absolutely.
me. So
Yeah.
At the end of the day, me not having an Alexa isn't going to make that big of a
I
deal.
have an
Now, I
Alexa
will
in every
say
room.
sometimes Alexa starts talking and I'm like,
Yeah, Siri
why are
too.
you talking? Same,
Yeah.
they'll turn on. So, you know, the government's a scary, scary place. You know, I have a friend that works for the government. I always say she's a spy because, you know, she can't say what she does. And I always joke with her that she's a spy. But yeah. And so, back to the whole COVID thing, I think that, it obviously made people sick and, that's, you know, it's sad and it's unfortunate, but, people really took what they saw other people. I mean, like the paper towels,
The hoarding
like,
of it and stuff.
the fact that people, even to this day, when a storm is coming,
Still
and they
getting-
go to Walmart or Food Lion and they buy out
It's always kind
all
been
of
that
the
way, though.
milk and the bread and I'm like, what are you doing with all of that for a rainstorm? Like,
Yeah.
you,
I mean, think
you're
about when we
pooping
were-
that much that you need all of the toilet paper in
Right,
Maryland?
exactly,
Like,
That is
no.
just our human nature of self-preservation. We want it takes a very rare person that cares about others in a time of crisis. It's very natural for us to just care about ourselves, right? It's the
Yes.
fight or flight, and
Right,
it's,
yeah,
it's our
us as
survival
humans.
instinct, and I think that's kind of part of it. We are still, man, we're 200 years removed from being really savage people, right? As humans, we're not that civilized. We just have these rules now in society that we follow, but our ancestors and where we came from, things were so different back in, you know, the 1800s to 1700s, where, you know, people were killing people on the street. I mean, and I'm not talking about like today. I'm talking about it was acceptable. You know, if you didn't like somebody, you just murdered them and went on about your day. Or if you wanted something that they had, you just did that. So we're not we're still animals, I think, in that aspect, and we still have these instincts. So when it comes to something stupid like a snowstorm or a winter storm, it's like, hey, I'm not worried about if you need this. I need this. So I don't know. That's just
we
my
are
thought.
very selfish people.
It is, and I don't think it's always looked at being selfish is looked at as so negative sometimes, but I really think it's just my opinion is it's in our DNA.
But just think about it. If zombies came out right now and that was a thing,
Left turn.
I mean, we're talking conspiracy, we're talking about being selfish. You think about it, like, you know, you have to survive. You're not thinking about the next person, right? You're thinking about you and your family, the people that are closest to you. Like, I love Liz to death, but if
You're
it's
gonna
her or
kick me if they're
me,
coming?
I'm
She's kicking me if
pushing
they're
her.
coming.
Or did you watch any of the Walking Deads?
Yes.
I stopped season 2.
So I love the Walking Dead. Right? I watched every spinoff and all this, but what was always the biggest threat on Walking Dead? It
The
was
people.
the people, right?
Yeah, the
it was
people.
never the
Yep.
zombies. It was the other people,
Yep.
and it was just because of that.
It's
I mean, but
game
what are we
shows.
taught? We're taught to
Yes.
you know, pursue you, do you. I mean, what was the motto for a long time, you know? Do you.
Yeah.
Well, what is that?
I mean, you have all
what
these
is that?
game shows, you know, you go on there to win $1 million and you start off by making alliances with people and I'll carry you this far. And then once it gets down to so many people, you get to there. Now it's cutthroat. So I feel like, yeah, we are bred to be all about us. And I don't think that there's necessarily something wrong with
So-
that when it's the right time. But like, I mean, if there's someone in need, obviously, and you can help them, that's something different. But like, as I said, I love Liz, but if a zombie's coming and it's me or her, she's gone. So
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
Liz.
it's weird, right? Because we are, and we I think we all kind of agree that we are selfish in nature, but we're also social creatures, right? There's been numerous studies that we thrive in social, that humans need social interaction.
Right, you need community.
Yeah, you need some kind of community because if, you know, these people that are loners, let's be real, they're all psychos.
Well, and that's why COVID was so bad for a lot of people, and how much anxiety has increased, especially for our younger generation.
Yeah.
For sure.
So it's kind of it's a little weird, right? We are selfish and in a way, but we also need that social. So it's kind of you got to find a balance to be a decent to be considered, I guess, a decent human being, or what society would consider decent. So it's kind of sometimes it's hard. You're fighting against your nature. Excuse me, in some ways. So
I always think about like the Purge movies. I always think Hollywood is like big too, with like another conspiracy that I think of is like they put movies out and shows out and things like that to like, again, gauge like our interest and like how we respond to certain things. And the Purge movie really freaks me out because it can be something. And just think about it. I'm working with you on a day to day and I come to you for a project and you despise, like Kelly just said, he puts all my emails in the delete folder. So if there's a person, that you don't like and you're given one day a year to like kill them and not like be like, if you're bred like, right, you grow up, if there could be kids that grow up in this type of thing, and so they just do that and they wait all year. So like it's just scary to me that like we can put these things in place, like the Hunger Games. I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
Like we go to Target and they got these ugly outfits and I'm like, District 12, here I come. Like, you know, I hope there's a Katniss somewhere. I volunteer as tribute. I don't want to be in that. So I hope, you know, that they are all conspiracies and none of it is true. But I think about it like, what if it isn't? Like, what if my kid is going to be lined up and has to participate in something like the Hunger Games?
Well, that's where you got to have faith.
Yeah, and I also believe that there's more good people than there is bad people. Like, I think all right, let's just for the Purge, for instance. I feel, I always put a percentage on things. 70% of society is going to be the ones that just lock their door and wait for it to be over with, right? The minority is going to be the people that are out there trying to
Survive
do
the night.
whatever. And, you know, most people will be like, all right, this is ridiculous. I'm just going to shut the door and wait for this thing to be over with. So, you know, Hunger Games is a little bit different. That's more like making poor people fight for your entertainment and their benefit, which is, you know, what the Romans did basically in the Colosseum. So it's not too far-fetched. You know, as good as some of these Hollywood writers are, a lot of this stuff isn't that hard to come up with.
Right.
Everything seems to be cyclical when it comes to history.
Which, speaking of COVID, you know, that was, I mean, obviously there was a movie that was, I can't remember the name of it, but there was a movie that was similar, where they had the outbreak.
It's like Contagion or something. It's in my Netflix queue. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
And it's wild when we actually watched it during COVID, and you know, it's just wow, because it's like, here we are, like we literally are living out like this movie. Obviously it's dramatized as far as like for Hollywood, but you think about it and you think, you know, have they been prepping for this? You know, I know when COVID first came out, there was like a thing where you go on website and like there was a meeting of like the minds per se to talk about like COVID and like COVID-19, and people were even going as far and saying like the Lysol can, like people knew was coming, which is hilarious because that just shows that people just grab what other people say and they just kind of run with it. I'm the type of person that I do my own research. Obviously, if something intrigues me or if I question it, I'm going to look into it a little bit further. I do have friends that I went to school with. I wouldn't say friends, but acquaintances that I see on Facebook that actually they're over the top. And sometimes I read some of their stuff and I'm like, what in the hell?
Yeah.
Where did you come up with that? So yeah, it's wild. Conspiracy theories are, for me, they're fun.
Yeah, I was
I
just saying, you
think-
seem to like them, where Liz just looks at you right now like you're a lunatic.
Yeah, she
So,
always does. That's okay. That's why we get along.
Liz is just
I say something crazy, she shakes it off. She
and
tells
says,
me
"You
why
need
it's not.
Jesus." Just
She probably throws hot holy water at me every once in a while,
pray
just
for you
over
every
the.
night.
She's sitting at her desk
Every
in front of me while I'm talking, like praying, like Lord, please be with her. No. So one of the biggest things for me is that we live in a matrix.
as far
think-
as
I'm getting-
elaborate.
Actually, Jimmy Malone is a big one, and he would be fun. If he listens to this, it'll be funny because he actually said it one day, and I was like, I think like that all the time.
All right, Jimbo, you're going to be on here. Then. We're going to have to talk about this.
So everybody knows the game Sims.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And so there are people in the world that believe that we live in a matrix and that it's a simulation almost. And so that like basically we're being played by someone, right? Like, y'all play Fortnite or something and you respawn somewhere. But the only reason I think that this is possible, not that someone is actually playing us with a video game. That's not what I think. That's a little bit crazy. But you ever just do something and you're standing there and you're like, you pause almost like you have like this, like you ever see the video where like they're just like kind of standing there doing, I just feel like we have so many glitches in our day. Like you forget something. You ever been driving in the car and you're like, you get somewhere and you wonder how you got there because you've been thinking about other things and how you didn't wreck and run into somebody. I just feel like it's possible that we live in like, we're all like Sims.
I mean, look, when you think about the universe and you think about the infinite, possibilities out there, it really is just that. There is a certain possibility. It could be. None of us know.
No, and that's the crazy part.
I know Liz is her faith would say no, that's not right. That's not what you believe, right?
Right.
But you don't know. It's what you believe. That's what faith is, right?
Exactly.
It's my belief. And none of us can say that we're right or wrong, and to just call somebody out to me is just naive, right? It's too much unknown for any of us to sit here and say, and I think that's what kind of makes it fun and interesting if you're open-minded enough to talk about it. It also makes it scary for some people, which is why I think some people shy away from talking about it.
Yeah, like I don't anymore because she actually inspired me not to, which I will say thank you because it's changed my life. I used to watch the news every morning. Like that's what I woke up to. The news was on and I was getting ready and there was just all this stuff happening and like it literally affected my whole day. Like that's all I thought about. So she had said like, I don't watch the news. And it's funny to the point sometimes I'm like, Liz, you're living under a rock. Like this happened. Like she's like, I didn't see it. I don't watch news. And so I was like, well, let me try it. So I actually didn't. I turned off the news. And I don't watch it anymore in the morning. And my days have been like so much better. But what I'm getting at is that like all the negativity that like spews into the world can really, really affect you. And like for me being a possible conspiracy theorist, I'm not someone who walks around and says like we're in a simulation or I would never be one of those people that were like COVID was fake, it was put out here to control the people, because it's insensitive to those people around. But I'm not naive. I'm not to the person who's going to be like, that can never be a possibility, because it absolutely can. But like I read the room, right? And there's people that don't read the room, and there's people that think that what they say is obviously, like you said, like you're wrong
it's gospel,
because you believe
right?
some
and
certain
for lack
way.
of better terms, it's it's hard, and it's tough to have conversations. I've known you for a long time. I know you're open minded as well as Jesse is, but it is hard sometimes when just to have it. It's just you look at those things like I use that kind of thing to just entertain my brain, to take my brain out of reality sometimes.
Yeah.
Reality is we all are adults here. And we all have stresses, and everyday reality of life is stressful enough. We need to be entertained. That's what I was saying about like a movie. Like I don't need it to be the best movie. Just let me turn my brain off for 90 minutes. You know what I mean?
I mean, I just put Schitt's Creek on, like, and I can listen to that, watch that over and over and
like
over.
your comfort.
And,
Yeah.
That's how I'm with like the comedy podcast that I listen to. Like it'll take when I
That's
drive,
an escape.
I put a podcast and I don't have to think about I'm sitting in traffic or whatever I'm driving to or whatever I'm driving from. I'm in that moment, just like taking our brains off of it. And that's whether it's a simulation or whatever we're in, or if there's
it just makes you think. I think that's the fun part about conspiracy theories is that it gives you something else to think about, right? It makes you take away from the day to day. But then like someone like Liz is probably like, not so much. You'd rather do something else with her time, which is fine.
murder mystery. We already talked
she's
about
over here listening about dead people in the woods and how they found whatever. So I mean,
he should have just went into
I'm
that
prepared.
shed. Yeah.
into the tunnel and come out. The old man.
He would have been safer that way.
The craziest part about that is that the man, apparently they're saying that it is died in like 2018 or something like that.
Who's saying this?
This is what the people
on the
the
TikTok.
people
she's
on the
consuming.
TikTok.
Okay.
And that's the best part about reading about it, is because people just go at it in the comments. They're like, you're wrong. No, I'm right. No, you're wrong. And then it's just like, you people do realize that this guy probably made all of this up, but
Yeah.
it made you think about it.
Right,
And
now
he's
you just
making
made him- yes,
millions
exactly.
of dollars.
Yep.
It's like the woman who did that like 52-part series about her ex-husband taking all of her like money, and he was like this con artist or whatever. She made so much money because people like were literally stuck on this 52 series, and she just rambled on about her.
I don't remember what that one was.
Me either.
Did you see the one where the woman wrote the book about how for her children about how to cope with the loss of your husband, and she actually is the one that killed her husband?
Stop it.
No.
Yeah, she wrote a book to help her kids cope with losing your father, and she's the one that killed him. Yeah, she got locked up. It was wild. It was good. That's not really a conspiracy theory. That
No,
happened.
but it's just wild. The world that we live in and social media plays such a big.
Well, that is news, right? You see, like you said, you don't watch the news, but you get on social media, and kind of that's the only place I get my news from is social media. And there are the things that I follow do seem to be a little bit more positive, and that's why I'm the same. I don't watch the news. I don't need to hear the negative, and I feel like it's all agenda based anyway. At the end of the day,
Absolutely.
it's a corporation, and they need ratings, and they're going to put on there what
They're
think people wanna
fear-based
watch.
anyway.
Yeah, because people will watch it, right? People
Yeah.
want to. People fear sells, and but social media it fuels so much right now of everything, whether it's a conspiracy theory or a news story. I mean, we seen the things with the Key Bridge, right? It was a terrorist act and it was blown up. It was intentional or whatever. And like, okay, so all that stuff I seen came off of social media. So, I don't know.
We can twist and make things whatever we want our reality.
Right. All it takes is one person to post, and then for some reason, if it was liked by many, it spreads.
Yeah, it takes off, right? Going viral is the new thing. Everybody wants that one video. You sit there, the people spend so much time making videos just hoping that it only takes that one to go viral, which it has changed society today. It's really changed.
I think back to when I was in high school, and I don't feel like, I don't know. I think about the kids today and us when we were in high school, and we thought about like we didn't have access. Like 9/11. When 9/11 happened, I was in 9th grade. You know, and it was like you didn't have access to the outside world. You were there. You had to wait for your parent to come pick you up. You know, some people might have had cell phones back then, but it wasn't like a common thing. You know, you were like the only reason you knew it was happening is because your teachers told you at that time. And I feel like now, like when like my kids are in school, like the Key Bridge and things like that, like it's like by the time you wait, like I was sleeping and my husband was like, the Key Bridge was hit and it collapsed, and I'm like, what? Like, so it's like I feel like it's spread so fast. Like someone was up at 2 a.m. in the morning, and when it happened, and then like by the time you wake up at 6 o'clock, it has been everywhere.
Got 10 videos of it, right?
Right, and you're
So-
seeing it from all different angles and all that. So, yeah, social media is
Well, information is instantaneous now, but so is misinformation too. So you
Yes.
gotta filter both of it out, and it's hard sometimes to try to figure out what is true and
Yep.
what's not true.
because you know the other conspiracy theory is that Google only gives you what they want you to see.
Oh, I will believe that for sure.
Why do you believe that one out of all the others?
Well, isn't that the point?
Well, because
though?
worst case scenario, like for example, you Google, I've had a headache for 3 days. What's the first thing you're going to read on there?
And it's brain cancer.
Yes, and you have a brain tumor.
I've
or
died
worst
20 times
case
over
scenario.
from all my ailments that I've Googled.
yeah, well,
Yep.
I mean, for the most
I
part,
mean, who's
though,
paying the most money for the sponsor? So you know, at the top, those sponsors, those are the people that are paying Google for their ads to show up. Like, yeah. So of course, I mean, I use it all the time, but I definitely.
So that's again, it's computer, right? It's an algorithm, it's bots, it's whatever you want to call it. But
Right.
isn't that the point of Google though? Is to give you the answer you want? Like it's designed to give you the most logical answer. And if you have a headache, it could be brain cancer.
Yeah, I like
Or if
the
I want to know who that guy was that played in that movie, it's going to tell me who that
Yes.
guy was that played
Right.
in that movie.
Yes. But I'm saying the people that are like really hardcore into the conspiracy, like don't use Google and you need to use this one that blocks you out. And I'm like, well, isn't it like Google does filter out sort of like the, what do they call it? The, fact checkers in a
Yeah.
sense, right? And so they say like use this one, and I'm like, okay, but that's not filtering out. So like Joe Schmo down the street can just put out, you know, and people are clicking on these links and reading these
that's
articles
like
and sharing them. And it's
Wikipedia,
like,
right? It can be edited by anybody. Like you
Yeah.
can go in there and change anybody's Wikipedia to say whatever you want.
Yeah, no, I'm always there for a good conspiracy, but I don't believe them all. I think some of them are actually pretty comical when I think about it. The Mandela effect, 1000% a thing.
I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
You see something a certain way, you remember something a certain way, and today it's not. Like the Chick-fil-A thing. Just look it up.
So
it's a big thing. It never Chick-fil-A. The way it was spelled or something, the way it was,
that is a real thing. Mm-hmm. So, and it's because, and the message that we got at church a couple weeks ago, he was talking about that specifically. And what do you what do you hear for Star Wars? What does he say?
I've never watched Star Wars.
But what does Darth Vader say? What is the most common phrase?
Luke,
that he
I am
said?
your father.
I would agree.
And that is incorrect.
What's he say?
He does not say that. I can't remember. I don't want to quote it on here because it's very
Kelly,
very specific. But it is not.
Do you know what he said? He says, "Keep me out." Okay.
It is not. But that is what everybody thinks was said. So you just go along with, yeah, that's what was said. There's all kinds of things like that, and I didn't realize that that's what it was called.
Yeah,
the
it's
Mandela effect.
Yep. It's you think you remember something vaguely the way that it is, and then it's one day.
Yeah,
it's
because
just
that
not
person
like that anymore.
Made
There's a
some
lot of
lie
them.
up, right? And or something, and everybody believed him. Is that why it got named that or something? Right?
I don't. I
got
think
time.
Something like that.
So I mean, I don't know. Is that really an effect, or is it just how our brains work?
Well, it's because
Like
we believe what we
Jif
believe.
peanut butter.
Yeah.
What's on the bottle? Like what's on the jug of peanut butter? Is it Jif or Jiffy?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know that. I mean,
It's
just,
Jif.
I'm just basing off of my memory.
They say that it was Jiffy. And now the bottle just says Jif. So there's people in the world that are like, that is not accurate.
Yeah, that they'll argue.
Looney Tunes. How's Looney Tunes spelled?
Looney.
How do you spell tunes?
Tunes.
Okay. There are people that believe that it was spelled Toons at some point.
Right.
Okay.
So it's things like that, like the Bernstein Bears.
I don't even know what that is.
Come on.
Bernstein
Listen,
Bears.
you're losing credit.
I know.
Did Curious George have a tail?
Yes, that was one of the things that he said.
Did
but he does
have
not.
it? He does not.
But everybody
he
was
did.
like, yes,
Yeah.
he got a tail.
You know, it's things like that.
Are there any of them that
Oscar
are good?
Mayer, huh?
Are there any of them that are good?
Yeah, but if
These
it's
are
something
all
that
good.
you believed your
Fruit
whole life
Loops.
and you thought that's what it was.
Fruit Loops.
Okay, what about them?
How do you spell Fruit Loops? Like what was on the box, not how do you spell it.
Toucan Sam was on the box.
No.
Wasn't it?
What did Fruit Loops, like what did it look like? How was it spelled?
I don't eat cereal. I haven't ate cereal since.
Grow up, Mark.
I mean, I do eat Raisin Bran still because I'm an adult.
Raisin Bran.
95 years old. Raisin Bran?
Yeah, and Cheerios. So
That's
heart
a whole
healthy.
nother episode in itself. But people say it was spelled fruit, loops, and then the loops were Fruit Loops, right?
Okay.
It's not. Fruit is they all have Fruit Loops. So it's
It's just a
FROOT.
memory game. Who would remember?
It's pretty
this
much
stuff?
that. But you're going to tell me you ain't never saw something? I'm like, I know that it was like that before.
What kind of tires did you have on your first car?
No,
Like,
I
that's
don't
different.
know.
It's like specific things. Like,
Yeah, it's not. It's
Yeah.
you know,
all right.
like
what color
Dunkin'.
curtains? What color curtains
Dunkin',
did you have in the house you grew up in?
I don't know.
Okay,
I know in
and
the
you spent more
kitchen I had the duck, or was it the duck? The white duck curtains. My mom had all of that.
we had them
decor.
too. The goose
Yeah,
with
the
the
goose,
blue
not
with
the
the
duck.
blue ribbon.
Yup.
Yup.
Everything.
All right, I don't remember. So
The
I had the
Cookie
cookie
jar.
jar.
you guys won that one.
We grew up poor, Mark. Okay,
So did I.
Well, you probably had it too.
Well, maybe you had the bougie.
I don't even think we
geese.
had curtains.
Maybe
all
you
right?
had the geese.
We just let everybody look in our stuff.
Didn't even have blind. Nothing.
Yeah, you
Just
had no
peeking.
blind.
Peeping Tom. So no, yeah. There's
Look, I just threw a bunch of milk cartons away, and I asked the guys in the shop if they wanted them to cut the bottom out of them and make a basketball rim like we used to do, and they looked at me like I was crazy. Looked like kind of like
I
you
know,
are
these
now.
no,
Poor
I
children.
know, but like, what? Why do you have so many milk
I
cartons?
don't know where we did. I was cleaning up the shop, and we got a ton of milk cartons up there. I don't know where they came. Not cartons, crates. I'm saying cartons.
Yeah,
but you know what
that's
I mean.
I was a little
Oh,
confused
that
when you
holds
said
the milk.
cartons.
Yeah, milk crates. Yeah.
I'm like,
So-
that's a whole nother level of poor if you had to put them together to make a hoop.
So look, we're going. I'm spinning us back around. Just talking about selfish people. So have you all noticed that drivers, like just driving down the road, that how much more inconsiderate and selfish and nasty people are on the roads compared to, I don't know, maybe 5 years or so ago?
Well,
Do
I
you
think
feel
it's a
that way?
population thing. Yeah, I do. I think it's it goes back to being
They're
selfish,
like
like
so
you
much
said.
more reckless, or is
It's-
it that I'm getting older and
I believe it's
just
the
never
older
paid
factor.
I think
attention
it's
to it?
I think it's part of. I think it's a little bit of everything. So I think that we care about it more because we care about safety more as we get older.
Yeah.
I also think that it's a population thing. As the population grows, so does traffic on the road.
Bill Gates
And-
said 3 million people or billion
Just
people.
wait till
gotta
he
go.
pushes that button. But I also think, and again, it's right. Everybody is selfish. Me getting to my job is more important than you getting to your job.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know you're complaining about drivers, but I bet there's been a time you can think about you driving crazy and cutting somebody off.
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
time.
saying.
Right?
Like,
We all do it, and then we all complain about it too.
yeah, but I feel like it's worse. I just feel like there's so
No,
much
I
more
think
reckless.
it's an age. It's an age thing because I'm like that now. I said the other day that I now understand why our pop never wanted to be around us more than 2 hours on the holiday. He was like, I'm out. I've had my food and I've seen what I need to see, and you can take me home back now. Home in my peace and my quiet because noises get on my nerves. I couldn't fathom having a little kid right now. I'm sorry, Kelly. I know.
Yeah, well, I'm in
Mark,
that boat too, right? But I notice it more now that I drive with a kid in a car seat in my car. Like
You're
the
more
way other
conscious of
people
the-
drive me insane now. And
Yeah.
I've always been the guy that does the speed limit. I don't speed because I can't.
You're the
even,
one
I can't
holding up
even.
the traffic.
I can't even pay attention when I'm driving.
Yeah,
the
but
speed
what's the
limit.
speed limit? 80 is the standard now, it seems
Yeah.
like.
Ask my husband because he gets a speed ticket for work at least once a month.
I don't understand.
Jesse, I'll defend you on that.
No, you can pay the bill next time. I'll send it your way.
I don't know. So, but again, I think it's probably a tribute to it all. That, you're old now.
I was treading lightly on that. Like, that's an age
That's
factor.
basically what Amanda was saying.
Old.
No, it's a little bit of. I think it's a little bit of everything. But it does. It circles back to everybody's selfish.
Yeah, in my mind, I'm like, all these young people on the road, they're not learning nothing right. They're just inconsiderate and
So
selfish.
me and Mike sat in traffic for 2 hours coming
judgmental
home from
self coming out
Virginia
there.
Tuesday. And
Ew.
one of the things we were talking about was, I'm telling you, 8 out of every 10 cars we drove past, they were on their phone.
Yes.
I was just about to say this plays a huge role in it because
Yeah, I'm terrified when my kid's
I'm
16,
guilty
he's
of it,
about
though.
to be.
We were playing a
Driving
game. And we were
and-
in traffic playing a game. Like, all right, we're pull up on this car. Is he on his phone or he not on his phone? Oh, he's on his phone. Like almost every single car, they were on their phone.
yeah, I'm guilty.
I mean,
of
and
that.
I'll be the first to admit, I absolutely will. I
think
think my
in the
theory is, if
urgency-
I'm not on 95, I'm not looking at my phone.
The phone thing is somebody put it into perspective for me and I don't remember who it was, but it's like you have to be accessible now. Like people need
We're
you.
addicted.
Well, that too, but like you think about like back in the day, like you had to wait to get home to find out something happened. Like I didn't come home one time and my mom had to sit and wait for me to come home. And I think about being a parent in today and my kid not coming home one time and I have access to them or track their location or whatever. She didn't have that. So I think about like just the phones play such a huge role in that. Like the young kids that drive and even if it's on one of them like holders in the car, like I feel like it's
Well,
still a distraction.
Just
It's
like
still
Liz
there.
said, we're addicted to it, right? We're addicted to getting that information
Yep.
right now. Whenever we
But
want
it's
it, we have
also
it.
dopamine.
It is.
It is. It's an.
yeah.
It
It's an
really
addiction.
is an addiction. We all are,
Yep.
especially our kids.
Yeah, and it's man, and just think it was.
And we're the people.
we're
that
gonna
give it to 'em.
we'll have to wrap this up soon, but I mean, we could
We
talk
can't
about
stay here
we could
another
talk
hour?
about AI and I mean the advancements in that stuff that's coming out now. Crazy,
right, and the
generation
terrible
one.
stuff that it can do.
And this is
Fred
just
has a
generation
story
one.
apparently.
Yes,
an
did you
AI
didn't-
that I didn't read the article, but he said there was a guy that used AI to like ruin this guy's like career and his life.
The
pretty
principal,
much.
it was
Oh,
an
yeah,
athletic
that
director.
was huge. Yep. So
Yep, and he wrote an email, said it was from the principal, signed it by the principal as if it came from the principal,
yeah,
and it was AI that did it.
and it's so good already. And you just think about the first generation iPhone, how much crappier that was than this thing we're holding right now. Think about in 10 years what AI can do. Right? It's going to be crazy.
The government, there are people walking around that are not real people.
Well, I'm hoping that AI can handle project management. So on that note, we are going to go ahead
Me
and
too,
wrap
me
this
too.
up. So- well, no, thank you guys so much.
thanks for choosing us because there was nobody else.
No, you guys were definitely first on the list.
Might want to take this from this guy.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
I appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Bye. They're going to take the effects from him.